Are you seeing that?
Mm-mm. And that's okay. I'm not really worried as long as we have connection to everything else, I think we'll be okay. What are you showing us? Sorry guys if you can see us, but this is our first time going live and we're using software program. And
No.
let's see. Okay, I'm seeing it live.
You're seeing it live on YouTube?
Yeah,
Hold on.
it's just delayed.
Oh,
Yeah, so I say we just go for it. And
okay.
then, yes, it allows me to like check to see like, oh, I need to get out of there now. So there we
Okay.
go. Okay. So yeah, it's showing on that and Facebook, and I don't know if it's working on Instagram, but we'll just have to
Okay.
figure out those glitches later and we can always post it.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
all right. So,
Okay.
this is
Welcome.
always kind of a mess, but we're here. Um, Melissa is my co-host. Of course, I'm Christy. But we have been working on this podcast for a while, like I would say a good 6 months.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were messaging each other about something and then you said I had been like thinking of names for something that God had been putting on my heart and mind and whatever for a year or so. And
Yeah.
so I've been praying about it. I was like, you know what, God, it's all your time. And and then you said, hey, you want to do this together? And I was like, sure, let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. So yeah, I'm just looking here to see if I can see. Hmm. I'm still
Yeah.
not seeing it on YouTube, but that's okay. We can always um, post it as a video later. So
Yeah. That's where I'm at. If we're live, we're live. If not,
then
do
we'll
it again.
just fly in by the seat of our pants here for sure.
I mean, it's crazy because like I before, that I've done podcasts in the past, but it was never like live or like on a like for video. It was just audio. And
Right.
since
And I've done YouTube, but it was taped
yeah.
and edited. So
Yeah.
I've never had to go live. So
This is a whole new ball game.
it's a whole
Um,
new world,
it
as
is.
somebody
It
in
is.
has
And
once said.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited
So
to really
I
just
am
go
too.
in.
I'm so excited. Like this is years. Like this is years in the making for sure. Like the Lord
Yeah.
has just been, I think, preparing both of us to share the things that He's been teaching each of us individually at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, we both have different journeys of getting to
Oh,
where
for sure.
we're at and to this place, but
Which we're
um
going to share in a little bit as
yeah,
well.
we're just going to dive in and we're going to talk about it, go beneath the surface. So,
Yes. Because
um
everything really does seem like it's at surface level
yes.
um with
Like
so
I'll go
many
to a
people.
church and I've been still having trouble finding my church. Um
Yeah.
because I feel like it is surface level and it's just more like a feel good thing, not really like the actual truth.
Yeah.
Um and so I that's where we both kind of went off the beaten path and started going into social media, following other people, really like listening to what others had to say to break down the Bible. And it was making sense finally. So, um,
Right.
you know, I mean, we met, gosh, I can't remember the year, but it was shortly,
2020. Gosh, have we known each other 4 years?
I think so, because it
I
was when
think
you
so.
did your small group. I joined your small
Yeah.
group through
Yeah, the
church.
suburban homesteaders.
Yes. Well, I am terrible with plants, all of the above. And I was like, okay, she's talking about Jesus, and I want to know more about him. She's talking about gardening, which I'm terrible at, and canning, which I was like, at that point in time, we were just kind of getting out of the shutdown. And I was like, gosh, I should probably a little be more like self-sustainable.
Sufficient.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we were all
So,
thinking that and feeling that. Like, what is this world coming to? Like, we need to be prepared.
yeah.
And I still think that we do. But
Yeah.
I think that it was the new kind of uncertainty
Yeah.
that we
I
were
agree.
kind of faced
It was,
with.
yeah. And I mean, they did a good job with the fear campaign, but um,
Right?
this led, I mean, it led a lot of people, including me, to Jesus. So, um, and that's where like we kind of joined forces, really,
Yeah.
is because we would, that's where we both collided and like we were like, something else is going on.
Well, we would talk after we would have our
I would
group,
stay
and
behind.
there was like a group of us that would stay and talk about this kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and it was like, why are we not talking more about this? Why are we
Yes.
not, as a church, talking about these fringy things, you know, that aren't so fringy because
Yeah.
they're in the Bible? We just,
Yeah.
you know, a
So,
lot of
I
it
mean,
is in the like there's a lot of stuff in the Old Testament that people are like, oh, that's the Old Testament. When Jesus, you know, died, he, you know, basically replaced all that. Well, no, actually, he even says he came to fulfill it, you
mhm.
know, all of the things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of crazy
It
that the
is.
church doesn't
It
talk
is.
about this. There's such a separation between um, what we see and what we don't see. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. I
So
I totally agree. I mean,
so I'm excited to kind of start diving into
yeah,
this. There's a lot of people that talk about it, but a lot of those people are men.
that are on podcasts and talk. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. You have Joe Rogan, which a lot of people gravitate towards. You have
But Anna
now,
Paulina Luna,
yeah.
she was on there talking about UAPs and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. So,
Yeah. I just think that we have an opportunity to have a different audience.
well, in a
And
different perspective. I mean,
yeah, we're women.
as women,
So,
we have a different perspective than, you know, some of the men I think do about the same issues. And that doesn't make their perspective or our perspective better. It's just different.
yeah. Yes. I just
Sorry, I
think we need
just
to
slurped in
start.
your ear.
No, I couldn't hear it at all.
Coffee.
I
Coffee.
think we should talk about where, our main goal, first of all, for the podcast, I guess, is really to bring others to Jesus, but
Yeah,
also like the in between. Like if you're still not there and you're questioning your faith, you're you're questioning God, Christianity. I mean, I was there. Like I was there. So it's like I want to be able to just have people keep an open mind and just know that it took me a minute to get where I'm at. And I think God puts certain things in your life and situations to get you there.
for sure.
Yeah, I think really just kind of talking about that and any questions. I mean, we both talked about this. We want you guys to give us suggestions of like what you want to talk about, what you want to know more about, what we can,
Yeah, what are
share.
the things that just don't kind of they don't make sense, but you have this feeling that there's more to it? Because that's kind of where we both came from was,
Yeah.
you know, which I'll share in a little bit, but you know, I've been a believer since I was 14 and I've lived a
Yeah. Why
lot
don't
of
we just get in?
life.
Let's get into
Yeah,
that.
let's just yeah, let's go there.
Yeah.
Um So, like, growing up, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So I'm a Gen Xer. And,
Great
but when I
generation,
was
by the
growing,
way.
huh?
Great generation, by the way.
I was just on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
um, because I was 1969 and I think it started like 1970 something.
Hmm.
So I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I was in, there's a lot of things that were changing during that time, but I loved history. I loved learning about history and mysteries of the past. And my dad and I would watch shows about the pyramids and aliens and dinosaurs, giants, angels and demons, like anything like that. They always, I, I always, I guess I was always kind of spiritually inclined because of that. Um, but they all kind of seemed like part of a bigger story that I couldn't quite figure out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So like what were the conversations, I guess, that like, I mean, because that's not like a normal situation where like in at least how I grew up, I didn't grow up that way. I wasn't
yeah.
introduced to any of that. So like what were your conversations between you and your dad when you guys would watch those shows?
Well, I mean, like my dad took me to see Star Wars in the theater,
Hmm.
like when it first came out. My
Yeah.
dad was very esoteric. He was in the Masons, and that was it's very mystical, like, which we can go into that,
Yeah.
but
That's like
on a
a whole
different
nother
day.
podcast that we'll get into about the lineage that you have in your family. Yeah.
Yeah, so that, you know, we talked about that kind of stuff, but it was never from a biblical perspective. It was always this different, like ancient aliens kind of thought. But that just didn't resonate in my spirit.
Hmm.
Like I just knew that there was something more. But so like I said, when I was 14, I was at my grandma's church, and they used to have what was called an altar call,
Yeah.
where they would play a
You had to
song.
explain this to me. I was like, what is this?
I know. So anyway, it's basically you have this service, and the pastor talks about salvation in Jesus Christ. And if you feel called, then you go up to the altar, somebody prays with you repent of your sins, and then you profess your faith and belief in Jesus Christ, that he is the son of God, and that he
Hmm.
died for our sins. So I was I can remember I went to the railing. My uncle was there. He prayed with me, and I was just sobbing. Just completely emotionally moved.
Hmm.
But it was at my grandma's church. And so the church that I was raised in didn't talk about that kind of stuff. It was just a different church. And
Hmm.
so I just kind of, I would float back and forth between what I felt and knew. I feel like that was God's protection over me, um, that even though I wasn't in a church where I was being taught, I did profess my faith and belief, and he's just kind of walked along and tried and brought people into my life. There have been seasons where I walked close with him. There's seasons where I've drifted away.
Yeah.
I've been married, I've been divorced, I've lived in poverty, I've been remarried, I've lost both my parents. I became a widow at 50. Um,
Let's
and I
not
faced
forget to mention that the reason that you did get divorced, which is a gut punch. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
for real. Like
To know that.
discovering, so yeah, like discovering that my husband was unfaithful through our 18 years of dating and marriage was like,
Who is this person?
it shook the foundation of
Yeah.
everything in my life.
Oh, I bet.
And, um, but it's interesting because during that season, I needed God in a way that I had never needed him before.
That's what he does.
And everything in my life, I didn't know what was true because I'd been lied to for so long. And I had this, I can't even, it was this thirst, this hunger like I'd never had before to know God's truth.
Yeah.
And God brought three women, two women I'd known since high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kind of came alongside me. They were believers, but it was kind of, we knew that we were believers, but we never really talked like you and I talk. Like it was
Yeah.
just kind of, oh yeah, you're a believer, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was another woman who became one of my mentors, and they just walked alongside me and spoke truth and love and taught me how to read the Bible to truly understand what God was saying. And it just really helped. They walked me, Jesus walked me through that valley
Yeah.
of darkness, and he brought them to help me through as well. So it was, um, people say, why do bad things happen? Well, for me, it was to bring me to a place where I was willing to give up the idol of my marriage
Mm.
to God. So,
Yeah. So I know you talked about your past, but then I know that you started when you were meeting those women and they were in your life, you started studying more of the spiritual warfare more deeply.
yeah.
And like what really sparked that interest?
Well, I could feel it. Like I could feel the battle,
Hmm.
and I could feel it with myself. I could feel it with my kids. Like I was having, I had a couple of situations where I had like sleep paralysis.
Oh, wow.
So, a
So
friend
you
of
were
mine
being
suggested,
spiritually attacked, basically.
oh, for sure. Yeah, me
Yeah.
and my kids, for
Yeah.
sure. Especially there was one of my kids specifically that it was happening with. I didn't know what it was. And a
Hmm.
friend of mine, she suggested there was a book called This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti.
Hmm.
And it was kind of based on, it was a fictional book that was based on Ephesians 6:12, which I know is a really important verse to you
Well,
as
let's
well.
give you
But
a little tidbit on that because we were talking about what we were going to tell about our past, and we both had the same verse
right.
in
And it
our
reminds
story.
us of the struggle. The struggle is not
Yeah.
against flesh and blood. Like our
Mhm.
struggle seems, because we can see it, seems like it's what we can see, but really it's against the spiritual forces of this world. So
Yeah.
people go, oh, well, that's kind of
Yeah.
new agey. No, actually, New Age copies the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah. I
yeah.
agree with that. And I think that, like, in defense of those who gravitate towards New Age,
Oh, yeah, I
because I
did.
used to. Yeah. We both,
Oh, I
yeah.
did,
It's because
because
you're wanting to,
I didn't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But I
And you're
knew that there
looking
was
for
something
something else.
spiritual.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like,
that just seemed like the New Age seemed like, huh, yes, this is the missing piece. And
yeah.
it is, because our church isn't talking about the
No.
spiritual.
It's
I
so
mean,
frustrating.
at least the
Yeah.
church I grew up in didn't talk about the spiritual side of this. And
Yeah.
I was
Very
studying,
few do.
spirit is mentioned in the Bible. I was studying this. I was telling you that I woke up this morning and God was like, look this up. The word spirit is mentioned 849 times in the Bible.
That's crazy.
Angels are mentioned 499. Demons are mentioned 112.
They're
And okay,
real.
I'm going to go there. Giants are mentioned 67 times. 67.
Yes. Oh, 6, 7. Sorry. My kid. Maybe there's correlation to that. But um
Yeah, it's not that.
no. No. But like it just goes to
But I
show
mean,
you
isn't
that
that like
yeah.
nobody ever talks about that?
No, and it's wild. It's because they don't want to go there. It's watered down. They don't want to talk about. So like we talked about this
Well, I
before,
don't
like
think our church has been prepared
no.
to talk about these things.
So
And
we all
so
know they're gonna bring the aliens down and blah 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 blah. They're revealing all of it. Well, if the church isn't able to talk about that, somebody else is.
and
And
that, I mean, we
it's
see
not gonna
that.
be mm-hmm.
We
And so
see
it's
that
not
everywhere.
mm-hmm.
And if you talk about it in the church, people go, at
Yeah.
least the people I've talked to, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the limit of where you're
That's
willing
where
to
they
go
draw
with
the
me.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I I know that like you were married and then got divorced, but then you also got remarried.
Yeah.
And he passed away in 2020, correct? Like right
Correct.
before
Yeah.
the
He
world
passed
started.
away a month before the shutdown.
Yeah. Which is that's a lot. That's a lot because of already what you went through and then like you're alone. I mean,
Right.
everything's shut down. There's not
Everything's shut down. My twin sons are in their senior year of high school.
that
And
I hated that for that class. It was
yeah,
just
yeah. I
it
mean, it
was
was
rough.
horrible. I
Yeah.
mean, their senior year of high school and their freshman year of college was the worst. But like the blessing in that was that everything shut down. And I was seeing all this stuff on the television,
Hmm.
vision,
Yeah. LOI,
because it
television.
was
Yes.
like
Uh,
fear and violence everywhere. And I just shut the TV off and I stopped watching. But
oh
I had
yeah.
all these books that I had bought that I started diving into. And then I started getting on podcasts and YouTube and watching stuff there about the things that I knew were happening, the spiritual battle that was happening with all of this.
Yeah.
But I was looking at like these things through a biblical lens because God had given me. I mean, I've studied the Bible from Genesis to Revelation probably 10 times.
That's
And so he
impressive.
gave me this base, this foundation, good foundation of his word to be able to see some of this stuff through the biblical lens. And
Hmm.
I think that that's what we need from our churches,
Hmm.
to not separate that out, but to put it in context.
Yeah. And like some of the people that we both love, there's two podcasts that like we just I listen to every episode and so do you.
Yeah.
It's Blurry Creatures and the Confessionals.
Yeah. I
They
started listening to both of those before they were YouTube channels, like
okay, Blurry
back
Creatures
in the
for me.
day.
Yeah, I started listening, but not the confessionals till later. But like, yeah, I was a diehard because it was like putting like what we were thinking and feeling. It like resonated, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. There's other people out here that like
Yeah.
are feeling and thinking the same way, and connecting the dots and connecting the supernatural with the Bible, and it just
Right. Well,
it.
like I also started like reading Gary Wayne, Laura Sanger, Michael Heiser, L.A. Marzulli, Fitz
Yes.
Zimmerman. Gosh, I think Fritz is like in Ohio, so he's close to us. But
That's
Derek
one of our
and
things that we
Sharon
want to do.
Gilbert. What?
We want to go see the burial mounds.
Oh yeah, I would love to. Like if he
Yeah.
takes tours, I would. If Fritz Zimmerman takes tours, I'd love to go. I'm in.
Yes.
But
Yes.
even and then like Vicki Joy Anderson talks about sleep paralysis.
Mm,
And so there were all these things that were just kind of starting to fill in the gaps and really make sense through the biblical lens.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, it's then you realize, okay, this is a spiritual battle. We are in a spiritual battle. And then you start seeing the spiritual battle in the Bible that it's been happening from the very beginning and it's never
Oh, it
stopped.
has.
So cyclical.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so cyclical. I mean, you see kingdoms rise and fall and it's always good versus evil. And yeah, it's really cool to like have them explain it because when you pick up the Bible for the first time and you're trying to make sense of Genesis or Leviticus with all the rules, and like, you're like, okay, this is not for me. Like, I'll just take the snippets that I'm being told. I don't need to read it.
Yeah.
I'm good. But
Well,
now
and
I feel
that's
like,
for me, the
yeah,
history, like what else was happening at that time?
yeah,
Like that's the kind of stuff that my dad kind of instilled in me. I mean, I've always asked how and why.
hmm,
And so like when I would ask, well, how, why did Noah's Ark, why did that have to happen?
yeah,
And why, all that, like why it just doesn't, it didn't make sense because
no,
of how I was being taught. And now it makes more sense, which we'll talk
yeah,
about in a, stay
I'm
tuned for the Nephilim
right.
and
Nephilim,
giants
fallen angels, all of the above.
and the watchers
Yeah,
and, but
yeah,
it all, it's okay. Like this is, I guess I want to encourage people to ask the hard questions. How and
mhm,
why?
yeah,
Because God created the universe. He knows the answer.
hmm, I
And so
agree.
no questions are too difficult for him.
No, not at all. And we talked too about like the difference between, because right now they're talking a lot about like aliens and the paranormal and all of that. And we've talked to about this too, where like you have Christians that believe in Mary being a virgin and, having a child, believing that. They
Well, that
believe
the
that,
Holy Spirit, that the Spirit came into her. And so, and
yeah,
this baby was part God and
in
part
part man.
human.
Yeah.
Like we believe that,
Yeah. He rose from the dead after 3 days. He cast out demons. Like,
right?
there's all these things that,
He walked on water.
correct. So they believe all these things. But then when you start talking about angels and demons and giants and all the other things that are still in the Bible that is clearly spoken about, it's like, that's not real. Shutting it down. That's, it's kind of
And we want to go
crazy.
beneath the surface on those things. But
Yeah.
it's not, it's like when I think of paranormal,
Hmm.
I don't, I see it as supernatural,
Hmm.
as a spiritual thing. I don't, paranormal is a weird word to me. It's more ghosts
Falls
and
into like, yeah, yeah,
magic and things that, it's not that those things don't work,
yeah.
but they do work. And God says, don't do them.
Yes, I've told my kids, I was like, if a Ouija board ever gets brought out, you are to walk out
Girl,
of that room
I,
and you
when I
tell
was
me.
in high school, a friend of mine from church
Oh
had a
yeah,
Ouija board
you'd walk into a toy store and be right there. It was easily
and I didn't
accessible.
know.
Hmm.
And that was just, yeah, that was the, like, Stranger Things is not so far off the mark
Oh
because the
no,
80s were crazy.
yeah.
Like there was a lot of spiritual stuff happening in the 80s, spiritual
Hmm.
priming, like Ouija board and all these sleepovers where you do crazy things like
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
light as a feather, stiff as a
Yeah,
board,
yeah.
and you'd look in a mirror and
Oh
like
yeah,
all
I don't
kinds of
even want.
crazy stuff. Ah!
Yeah, it was
But that
really
was like the
wild.
80s. I mean, there was
That
just
was
so
normal.
much spiritual stuff. It's no wonder that, when I, after I got married the first time, I felt really lost,
Hmm.
and I went to psychics. I had tarot readings, all of that. I think the Ouija and the setup in the 80s
Yeah,
created this desire for that spiritual
connection
in
kind of.
in adulthood, you know.
Hmm.
And I didn't have the biblical foundation to be able to understand what that was.
Yeah, that would open up doors that you don't know.
Absolutely, for me
That's
and for my
another,
children, yeah.
right? And that's where the spiritual warfare starts happening when you open
For
those
sure,
doors. And
yeah.
we'll go down we'll go down those paths as well. Um,
Yeah.
and I think really, this is more of a deeper question, but like, do you feel like your testimony is now like a calling in your life to share with
Oh,
others?
absolutely. Yeah. I think that God is, as it says in Esther 4:14, like he has put this message on my heart that um we've been placed where we are for such a time as this.
Mm-hmm.
And um I want to walk in obedience, and I want to share the truth and help others see how these pieces all fit together through God's word and through the biblical lens. And
Yeah.
so that's um two things can be true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just said, if they weren't true, God wouldn't have told us in the Old Testament not to do those things.
Right.
He wouldn't have set that guardrail
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't
Needed.
actual. So, okay,
Yeah.
so now we've talked a lot about me. Let's talk about you. I know it was later in life that you started to ask questions. So, takes back in time. What was how did everything shift for you? Like when did that happen?
Really, it was similar somewhat where it was during the shutdown. Like I have been surface level, lukewarm, whatever you want to call it, in my faith. Like I was like, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, but didn't read the Bible. I did whatever I wanted, didn't really feel like um there were really I don't know repercussions, but like let's just put my 20s were wild, like really wild. I was, wild and free. So when you I got to the shutdown, life was great. We moved into our house that we're in now, which I love. Um, but I was actually having a conversation at the fence. We're like behind here. There's like a couple yards that connect. And a neighbor was talking to me about, I don't know if this word will be flagged. Let me say, like certain high ranking people were doing things to children. And I was like, okay, this lady's lost her mind. Like, I no one would do anything like that. But then something inside of me was calling me to like, okay, let's just see if what she's saying is true. And at that point, they had not scrubbed a lot of this stuff that I was
Yeah,
able to find.
I was sent down that rabbit hole as well.
Yeah.
And back when
Um,
before everything was being scrubbed.
yeah. And what I
Yeah,
found was alarming. I mean, let's just say what is being released now was what I found out back then.
right.
And
And
I
it was
would
conspiracy back then.
correct. Oh, I mean, I was very consumed by it because I mean, I think which I feel like everybody is once they're like, "Whoa, are you serious? Is this really happening? Is this what they're doing to
Yeah,
them? Why are these kids going missing? Where are they coming from? How is this happening?" Or, you're just like, and
yeah,
these people that I used to idolize, watch on TV,
right.
and are running our country are all involved. I'm like, No, like this is wild. So yeah, I really started just digging and researching, and what I found, it was dark. It was really dark, and I went into a really dark place. Really, really dark place. and I try not to get emotional about it now, but like I genuinely in my soul was like, how do I save these children? Like I kept telling that to my husband and he thought I was nutso. But I was like, these like I feel like there's nothing I can do. I can't unsee this. I can't unknow this. And now and knowing that this is happening, uh I've zero control. I have zero power over it. And that was heartbreaking.
And then like how did like you mentioned your husband, how did people respond when you started talking about all this stuff that you were finding out?
Um, there was, let me preface this too. I was spending a lot of time online, um, researching it and just being really kind of consumed about it. And it was affecting my mood. It was affecting my marriage. It was affecting the time that I would spend with my children. And then on top of that, you mix that in with me, having beverages every night because I was bored and it shut down. That's what we did.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people did that. I mean, there were
Yeah.
jokes and memes online where it would be like recycle day and you would see the whole recycle bin was full of beer
I
cans
never saw
and
that.
oh yeah. But it was
I
like,
never
I mean,
saw that.
because people were just, I mean, bored. I mean, you're stuck inside. And so it was just
Well,
like a
yeah.
really
A lot of
perfect
divorces
storm.
happened too during that time.
Well, I mean, thank God I have a husband that was not an option for him. And
Right. But I'm just saying, like, people
yeah,
finally were living and getting to know the people they were married to. And
that's true. Yeah, my husband was probably like, "Whoa, okay, lady, this is not necessary." So, but yeah, I mean, my husband and because my parents had reached out to my husband, and they were concerned of what I was posting, and what
mm,
I was saying online and what I was sharing, because I was like trying to let other people know what was going on, and they also said, Christy, this isn't happening. Like, you need to seek help. They had an intervention. They actually came over to the house and they were like,
oh,
Christy, like,
wow.
sat me down out on the front porch. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So it was really hard. Because in my soul, I felt like it was true. And then that kind of dove me into where I just started finding people online because I didn't have anybody to talk to. So I started kind of seeing a surge of people speaking out on this and like um but I mean you had basically I've had accounts that were flagged I couldn't post or because they were basically censoring all of us that were speaking out on this, and now come to 2026 it's all coming out. So
Right. Well,
yeah,
like at that time, did you feel like you just needed to, because did you feel like you just needed to stay quiet to keep the peace?
I thought about it, but that's not my personality.
Me either.
My yeah, I
But fear of man is a real thing.
yes, but I knew what I was seeing and knowing was true, and so I spoke out online, and that's when I started my other podcast. I lost a lot of friends. I lost family members. Um, Not only with that, but with the poke and what they were pushing, and I was against
Oh
that. It
yeah,
was
for
just
sure.
like all of these things, I became very, very, very isolated. And the only thing that I could lean on was God. He got me to that point, and I truly, solely believe that because I wouldn't be where I am now without all of
Right.
that happening and the
Yeah,
isolation.
like what I was saying about the divorce and all of that. Yeah. I think we all have those moments. So that kind of made your faith go from surface level to real.
Yeah. Yeah, because I that's when I started diving into the Bible and really like wanting to know and understand. And same, probably similar timeline as where you were starting to dive into the podcast and reading books. And like I was going to Bible studies that would break it down because I needed help. I didn't know how to read the Bible. I mean, I didn't. And I'm
Well,
still not
yeah, I
all
mean,
the way
most of us
there.
don't.
No, no. Um, but now like I do was my second year doing BSF and going through different books and really diving into it. And I am forever grateful for that. And I that's where I feel like it's all connected. Like all the things that have come to the surface, right? With I'm trying to not
Everything.
say, yeah, I have to be
I know
careful with that
everything
word.
that's on the news right now
Yeah,
and has been, yeah, which we'll
yeah,
talk about,
yeah. And I don't
you
want to
know,
be like
the
a person that's like, I told you so. I want to be like,
no,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about
yeah,
it now.
well, and you look at the prophets weren't like, see, told you so. They were like, hello,
Yeah,
please listen to me.
yeah,
Speaking of the Bible,
yes,
was there a verse that kind of clicked with you? I think
yes.
we kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it was Ephesians, and I'm not very good. One thing I am good, I'm good at remembering stories, but I'm not good at remembering verses. But it is just really that we are fighting not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and basically just like angels
Well, let me
and
read it
there's
because we've talked about it a couple
yeah.
times. Let me read Ephesians. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, against the powers of this dark world,
Mm-hmm.
and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms."
Mm-hmm. In heavenly realms. That should tell you right there.
Right.
We are not alone. There's other things that are affecting our day-to-day lives and
And
have,
there are realms.
yes, unseen realms.
Right.
And it's not so crazy anymore to be able to talk about those things because of everything that's happening. So I think that's where like it was really kind of perfect timing now where we have like talked about doing this podcast. And now I feel like people are more open and willing
Some
to,
people are. Some people are,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, to have these conversations. And if we can get others to just be open and maybe look at the possibilities of it being, a spiritual battle, then we're doing, I think, what we were called to do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know that we had talked about where I had the conversation with my neighbor, but um, what's coming to mind is really that before I had the intervention and everything, I there was a moment that I remember where I was sitting in my room going through the images of what like researching everything um and really I just broke down. That was really the shift. That was the moment. That was the actual moment and I just cried. I just sat there and cried and asked for God to just show me the truth,
Yeah.
even though it's hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not, I mean, these are all deep, pun intended,
Yeah.
topics that people don't necessarily want to go into, but I think that it's important at least to bring some clarity to some situations that kind of helps us see that, there is a deeper battle.
Yeah. And I think too, like that's a good like I think ending to where we're at now, but like of this chat, but like really just it does give you peace and clarity. And I want that for other people.
Yeah.
I want other people to be able to feel that and realize that, whatever you're questioning, even if you're new age or you're new into the faith or you're wanting to know more, um, you know, it's you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's just the beginning of your journey. And hopefully we can be there with you and have all of these things that we're going to talk about that will shine light on all of it. And
Yeah.
eventually we're going to have guests that we're
Yeah.
excited.
We already have our
Hopefully
wish list.
yeah, hopefully the people that we've like read their books and podcasts,
Yeah.
etc.
Their
So
books over
yeah.
here, right over here. All
Yes,
of the
we're both
books.
actually reading and
The Unseen Realm
suggestions.
together.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
start for people, I feel like that would break
Oh
it down.
yeah. I mean, this is the second time I've read it, but I'm just so good.
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Heiser was Dr. Michael Heiser was an amazingly intelligent man.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, now we have who is underneath him? Was it LA or
Oh,
Joel Matamale?
Joel. Yes,
Yeah.
Joel Metamale.
He's a really good person to follow too. So,
Yeah,
but if you
and it's
guys
like the
have
theological truths that
mm,
haven't been explained.
yeah.
Yeah, he does. I think it's called uh, therapy and theology with Lisa Turkhurst.
Mm, yeah, he's been on a lot lately because he just came out with another book.
Yeah, he did. It's kind of like the follow up to the Unseen Realm.
Yeah.
It's called the
It's
Unseen Battle.
Unseen something. Yeah, yes, I think it is Unseen
I think it's
Battle.
called the Unseen Battle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't read it. I haven't gotten it yet, but
Yeah.
it's probably next on my wish list.
Yes. Well, I hope um that, if anybody wants to have us talk about any kind of specific subject or like dive
Mhm.
into it or challenge us. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. I'm good with a good challenge and because I think that's where we can find commonalities
Hmm.
and come to the
For
truth
sure.
together. So, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Um,
like, I mean, make sure that you like and subscribe
yes.
to all of our socials so that you get updates when we go live next. I don't know what happened with this one, if we did actually go live,
I know.
or
We
if
have
you're
no
watching
clue.
this on the replay, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Put in the notes in the comments, comment about what you want to learn about, what you have questions about. If there's stuff that just doesn't quite make sense to you, if we don't know, we'll hopefully have somebody who we can have on our show that would.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll put
so
in
yeah, give us names. And if you've been on this journey as well, if you've got names of people that you have found helpful, we're definitely, we want to know about those as well. So
yeah. And if you feel like anybody that you would want to hear from as a guest, sorry, I'm typing in
yeah,
in the chat, I'm putting in our contact email.
yeah,
So,
great.
please reach out to us there, for either being a
It's at
guest.
contact at beneathsurface.org.
Yeah.
And it should be on all of our socials as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm I'm just extremely excited. I think
Me
this is going to
too.
be it's just the very beginning.
Yeah.
We'll get better at this, I promise. But you know, I I feel like there's just so much that we have to say and to talk about that will just really start connecting the dots for others. So,
I hope so. Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Is to each one teach one. And so as we're learning things, um, I just find God's word to be so fascinating
mhm.
that I just can't wait to see the people that we have on and the things that we learn. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. Catch you on the
Okay.
other side.
We'll see you soon.
All right.